Hello, everybody, and welcome to another session of Q&A for Arbitrage. This is Allan Urizar, and today I'm going to be um, working with you and answering any questions regarding arbitrage. Eric is not here today, and as you all know, Seth is giving us this opportunity on Saturdays at noon um, to come to you guys and answer any questions that are related to arbitrage. So I want to welcome everybody. And if you guys have any questions, we're going to be here for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, an hour maximum if you guys have a lot of questions. And I'm going to be answering your questions and hopefully helping you start your business doing arbitrage on Amazon or scale your business if you're already selling. So welcome everybody, and I hope you guys are doing awesome. This week I'm here in Houston, Texas. I'm helping a few friends kind of go through that process and start the scale their business on Amazon. And so today I'm here. I'm gonna be here answering your questions. So I'm a little bit with the time change difference. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm happy to be here and I'm ready to answer any of you guys' questions. So welcome everybody. If this is the first time you're tuning in to this channel, this is Just One Dime channel. Seth Kinip is the one of the founders of this channel. But on Saturdays at noon, Eric, Abbey, and myself most of the time are going to be answering your questions related to arbitrage. And then during the week, we have other coaches and we have Seth talking about private label. So today we're talking about all about arbitrage. I have been doing arbitrage for about 3 years now, a little bit over 3 years now, and it's a business model that I like. It's very fast moving, and I have been able to generate a good income. I'm working full time doing arbitrage, and so today I want to talk to you about arbitrage and answer any questions about arbitrage. So I hope you guys can hear me. Hello, government accountability. Hello, the Momba, Ashley, Kuldip. I hope I'm pronouncing your name good. And government accountability says yes. I hear a lot about IP complaints. How to prevent that? Well, if I don't know if you've been selling for a long time. I've been selling for 3 years, and it's always been an issue, and it's basically a brand trying to protect their products. The only problem that I see is that for a brand that knows how to sell on Amazon, the best way to protect their products is by registering their brand on Amazon and then being able to protect their products and close any of their products. So people need to request approval to sell. But some of the brands, they don't really know how to sell on Amazon. They don't really sell on Amazon, or they don't have any experience. So the one thing that they do is they put IP complaints, or they make those claims to Amazon. And the only thing that is going to happen is that every time you get an IP complaint, Amazon is going to require you to verify that you're buying from a legitimate company, like a end customer retail store, or maybe from a distributor or a wholesale company. So every time you get an IP complaint, you do need to prove to Amazon with invoices and anything that Amazon requires that you're buying from a legit company. That's basically the process that you have to do. And the reason why we get IP complaints, and lately we're getting a lot more IP complaints, is because a lot of companies are trying to, they figured out that they can complain and people will stop selling their products on Amazon. So they're doing that a lot more often now, because it's not the right way to do it. Amazon Amazon will allow you to keep sending those items as long as you can prove that you're buying from a legit company. So all you have to do is just have to kind of go to the process. But I don't really worry about getting IP complaints. I do get IP complaints. I get letters from the manufacturers or the brands asking me to stop selling their products. But if they don't have any protection through the proper channels on Amazon, all I do is I check with Amazon and I make sure that I'm able to sell that product. If I'm able to sell that product and I don't have any issues, that will be my response to the brands, to the IP complaints, and I will provide any letter, any invoice or receipt showing Amazon that I can sell those products. So it is a problem that is a lot more. It's happening a lot more now because a lot of companies are putting those IP complaints, but it's something that is not new, and all you have to do is you have to know how to handle those issues. So that would be that would be my experience, and my recommendation is just learn how to handle those issues. And as long as Amazon, when you check with Amazon, as long as they tell you that you can sell that product, then you should be able to sell that product with no problems. Loving it says, Alan, for Q4, what items do you recommend to sell other than toys? Thank you. Anything that has to do with gifts. For example, now we're gonna start going to stores like Costco, or any of the stores where you see a lot of gift items. Like last night we were at Costco, and they're bringing a lot of new items for Christmas already. All of those, if you can get them at a discount, if you can get them at a good price, and all you have to do is you have to check the price that is right now, and then if that product is selling on Amazon and it's been selling for a few years, you can check what was the price for the last Christmas, and usually you're gonna be getting those at a very higher price on Christmas. So for example, if you buy something right now that is $19.99 regular price, but for Christmas it doubles in price, those are the items that I'm gonna be buying. And then if I can find something that has a special discount or anything like that, that's gonna be even better. But start checking for anything that is giftable, anything that comes in a nice box. A lot of the Christmas things like greeting cards, all of that, lights, all of that, you're gonna be able to sell now. I always recommend not to buy a lot of items. So for example, in my own business, I buy 3 to 5 items maximum. So I don't go crazy and buy 100 units of one item, which I know other people. I know Eric Abbey does that regularly, and I don't do that. I just buy 3 to 5, but I just buy a lot of different products. So that way I can I'm able to keep selling a lot, but I'm not selling just the same product over and over, unless I can find it and I can buy in small quantities. But that will be my recommendation. Lindsay say, buenas tardes, Alan. How someone from outside the US can do arbitrage? Well, the model that you're going to be able to do if you're outside the US is going to be online. And we have members in the community that are doing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month in sales, and it's all 100% online. We have one member of the community that we're gonna be interviewing in Spanish in the Just One Time Español channel, and he's done this year over $130,000 or $140,000 in sales, and it's all 100% in doing online arbitrage. So the main model that you're gonna be doing, that you need to be doing, is gonna be online arbitrage, and that's basically you're buying from any online .com site in the US. You send that product to a prep center in the US, which is going to be the company that is going to receive your products, prep those products, ship them to Amazon, and then you're going to be able to sell those products. So you need to have a prep center. And then, once you start buying the product, you're gonna send it to that location. They receive it, and then they send it to the warehouse for FBA. Nicole says, hey, Nicole. Mark, I recently started Arbitrage with books, but if I try with other categories, I get approval requests from Amazon. How do I bypass this problem? I don't have a professional account yet. That's okay. You can start doing you can do sell on Amazon just with a personal account. There is a limit. You can not a limit, but you get charged 99 cents at each item that you sell. So if you sell over 40 items a month, you're gonna be paying more than the regular membership. So the regular membership is $39.99 a month, and you can sell unlimited items. I was doing a meeting, a coaching session this morning with the members of the community, and we were checking out my own store. We were checking my own store, and I sell about 1,300 to 1,500 units a month. So if I was on the free account where I get charged 99 cents per unit, I will spend $1,500 a month on Amazon fees. But because I pay $39 a month, then I can sell 1,000 units, and I only pay 39 plus the FBA fees. So you're gonna get to the point where if you're selling more than 40 units a month, it's gonna be worth moving to the $39 a month membership. But for now, you can just keep doing that. And then the second part of your question, how do you bypass that problem of having a lot of restrictions? It's gonna depend on the sales history that you start building on Amazon. Nobody knows exactly how many units you need to be able to sell before you start getting approval for other category or other brands or other products. But I know from most of the community that we have for Arbitrage, it's gonna be around 200 to 250 units before you start. Every time you check on the approval for every product, some of them are gonna start getting open up for you. So I will say you need to work at least to have a couple hundred units sold to be able to start getting approvals. Now, it can start happening, once you sell 50 units or once you sell 75 units, but it's not going to be on the main brands. And then if you want to get to the main brands, it's going to require a lot more. But basically, it's all based on the sales history that you have. Now, Amazon checks the sales history for the last few months, maybe 90 days to 180 days. And we know that because we've had situations where people was selling 2 years ago and they were selling very, very good, and then they stopped selling for a year or a year and a half, and now they start selling, and they figure, because I was selling 2-3 years ago, I was already selling a lot. Now I'm gonna be able to get approval in all these products and brands, and it doesn't happen. They have to start building their history again. So I would say you need to sell constant for at least 2-3 months, maybe up to 6 months, so Amazon sees that sales history building up. But it's not gonna be, if you have an old account and you stop selling, you're gonna have to start all over again, because it's gonna require at least the last 3 months for them to be able to start opening up for you. And books, by the way, it's a great category. You just need to kind of understand, how books work and everything. So I hope you are doing well on the book side, Mark. Dog701 says, when doing retail arbitrage, selling on a listing that is not yours, can you change the keywords or the title of the listing to get more attention? You can, but you need to get approval from Amazon, and it's not gonna happen all the time. They might approve depending on what you want to change. But the whole method of arbitrage is finding listings that are selling already very, very good, that everything they have on the title, the pictures and everything, it's already making them sell very good. So I don't want to optimize a listing. I don't want to, create a new listing. I don't want to change pictures on that listing. I just want to get in listings that are selling very good, put my inventory there and be able to sell fast. So, you can change keywords, you can probably change the title, but you don't, that's not the arbitrage method. The arbitrage method is just piggybacking on items that are selling very good already. So I try not to spend a lot of time trying to optimize that listing, because all the work that you do on that listing, changing keywords and changing title, is only going to benefit, well, it's going to benefit everybody. It's not going to benefit only you. So, and especially if you follow the recommendations that we give you here, which is buying 3 to 5 units for each item, you're going to do a lot of work in order to sell your 2-3 units, and then you're not going to have that product anymore. So I usually recommend not to do any changes unless Amazon asks you to change something on the listing. But still, even if Amazon asks you to change something on the listing, they still need to approve the change that you make. So I would just try to get, just not spend a lot of time in there or doing that. Doug says, I have a product that was a great markup, but doesn't sell very fast. Listing is terrible. The BSR is 345,000 in kitchen. Is that a decent BSR? No, we usually recommend, we recommend to have listings at least in the 1% of that category, which on the kitchen category might be a good, around 200,000-300,000. But I always try to recommend that you have items the lower rank possible. And if you want to sell fast, I always recommend to have at least 100,000 or less. So you can have 1%, and it's going to sell, within 3, 4, 5 months. But if you want to sell with less than 3 months, I would recommend at least having 100,000 or less. And then, going back to optimizing the listing, I don't like to optimize the listing because it's not, I'm doing a lot of work for 2 units or 3 units. But if you have enough units, let's say you have 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 units of that product, and you want to spend the time doing the optimization, yes, you're going to need to ask Amazon to approve anything you do. And that's going to help that product, get better ranking and better sales. But you're doing a lot of work for everybody. So you're helping everybody get better sales on that listing. So you just have to keep that in mind. And if it's worth for you spending that time doing it, go ahead and do it. It's only going to benefit, Amazon, the catalog, and all the other sellers. Loving it says, Alan, I want to get approval for automotive category. They asked to have a website. Any idea how to do this to get approval? Yes. When I got approval for my category, all I did was I went to my profile, and then if you go to your profile, Amazon assigns you a store. So let me just give you an example. I'm gonna go to Amazon. I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can, actually, I'm not sure if I can share my screen. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yes, I believe I can do that. Let me just make sure, double check that I can share my screen. And if I can share my screen, I will show you how to do it. So give me 1 second. I just want to double check and make sure that I can see, that you guys can see the screen. And we have a delay, so I'm kind of waiting on the video. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So if I go to Amazon and I just go to, let me just go to this category, headphones, and I'm just gonna search anything here, or let me just do this. This is the rubber bands that I use for my shoes, and I'm gonna go to all the sellers. So when you are one of the sellers on Amazon, Amazon is gonna is going to assign you a front store. It's called the front store. So if you go to your profile and you go, you're gonna, you search on your profile, you're gonna find the link to your front store. Usually it's Amazon.com and then shops and then the name of your store. But in this case, I just came here to the best source office supplies. They have 50,000 products. So this is their link. If you see it right here, this is their link. And let me see if I can find another one. I just want to see if I can give you, if I can show you the exact. Well, this one is only one. Let me see if I can show you somebody else. Supermart. So Supermart, if I go to their front store, well, it shows like this. It shows Amazon.com/s and then me and then the store, the seller ID number and then the marketplace. This is the ID for the US. But in your profile, it's gonna show you Amazon.com /shops and then / the name of your store. That you can take that link and use that link when you're as your website, because if they click on that, that's gonna take you to your front store and it's gonna show all your products. So that's all you have to do basically, and that's what I did. I used that link on mine, and that they approve it and they didn't have any issues with that. So you can try that. That should work for you, and that's the link that you're gonna give them when you're filling out the application. Hoodlib says, how much margin would you say we should be making on arbitrage? Okay, when we're buying a product, my recommendation is that always look for 100% ROI. And we've shown you before in other videos with Eric, we've shown you products that have 100% ROI. Now, the reason why we recommend to try to find 100% ROI products is because when you have it on Amazon, you're gonna need to compete and you're gonna need to lower the price and compete with other sellers. So after any fees that the Amazon charges and everything, your net profit, you want to have at least 20 to 25% net profit. That's going to be about 40% ROI. And I try to look for products that have very high ROI, because my net profit, I want it to be at least 25%. In other years, I've been able to get about 25%, 26% net profit on my products, which is going to be about 40% ROI. This year, I've been scaling my business, but I've been having a lot more expenses. I hire more people. I have more people in my team. So I have been able to scale my business and have more sales. But my net profit, it's gone down to about 18 or 17%. That's about 30% or 35% ROI. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that because I'm getting a lot more. I'm almost doubling my sales from last year, the monthly sales and everything. So, but I would recommend, when you're looking for products and scanning for products, try to look for 100% ROI. That way, you're, after everything, after your expenses and everything, you get at least 30 to 40% ROI, and that's going to be about 25% net profit. I hope that makes sense. And you can use the FBA profit calculators to kind of figure those numbers out. But I will start there, just trying to find as much ROI possible when I'm buying the product, so I can end up with at least 20 to 25% net profit. Sir Jay, how are you? How many labels should we put on one product to ship it to a warehouse? I usually use one label only, unless I have to use a bubble wrap to in some products, because we do sell a lot of groceries and a lot of things that are breakable and glass and things like that. So when I have those kind of products, I will put one label, on top of the UPS on the actual product. Then I bubble wrap it, and then I put another label on the outside of that bubble wrap. So I end up using two labels in those cases, but in most cases, when it's a regular product that you can just put label on it, I just put one label on the UPA on the UPC code to cover that, and that's it. And then there's some boxes that have the UPC code, in like 2 or 3 different places. I usually use a white label and just cover that, because I want to make sure that they only use the my barcode. So I cover those just with a white label. Or if you want to do something different, you can print 2, 3 labels and just cover every UPC code. But I just scan. I just print one label, and then I use white labels on the other if I need to cover other UPC codes. Hey Kyle, how are you, man? Patrick, I'm currently doing private label, which I'm struggling due to competition, but I want to do online arbitrage to generate some cash, help my profit, and uh, from South Korea. Do I need another account? No, I've done a private label products on that same account. I don't have any private label running right now, but I'm working on private label products for that account, and then I have another account with private label. But you can do private label on one account and do arbitrage at the same time. I haven't had any issues before, and Amazon doesn't. They don't care if it's a private label or an arbitrage product on that account. So yeah, you can use the same account, no problems. The reason why I have multiple accounts is because on the other accounts I'm not doing it myself. I'm doing with other partners. So we have decided to use different accounts just to handle those separate business. But in my personal business, any private label that I have and that I launch, I just put it on the same account. Maui TV says 17% of $1 million, 170,000. Not bad. Yeah. I know a lot of businesses, very successful businesses that run on a 10% profit margin. So I know, it'll be nice to have 25%, and that's kind of like the goal. But once you start adding more people and more team members, you have to spend the extra money. But my net profit right now for this year is about 18%. So it's not bad. It's a good profit margin. And of course, if you can scale your business with delegating to other people, that's worth doing that. Doing that expense. Do you set 40% ROI minimums? Do you use a repricer, or do you use Amazon's? No. Well, I use a third-party repricer. It's called Be Cool, and I set my minimums to 40% ROI. For the first 4 months. So if I cannot sell in the first 4 months at the 40% ROI or higher, because the repricer is going to go up and down, then I'm going to start dropping my price and dropping my percentage. From month 4 to month 6, I will drop my prices, and then after month 6, I either liquidate and lose money, trying to get some of that cost back and just reinvest it in other products, or I just request that product back. Sometimes we're able to return the product or exchange it for another one, and sometimes it's just going to be, we try to sell it on eBay, or we try to sell it, in other marketplaces, or we just donate it to Goodwill. And that's the way we try to handle all the business. All right, so those are pretty good questions. I don't see any other question in here. I'm gonna go to the other the crowdcast video to see if I see anybody here. Jack says buy and hold. Many auto on gates also. I'm not quite sure what the question is, Jack. If you can re-type the question, but I don't do buy and hold a lot. I only do buy and hold when I probably made a mistake and purchased something that the ranks were not good ranks. So I will try to see if I can hold it. I will try to hold it, and instead of liquidating or just returning that product. And the other thing is sometimes um, some products that I purchased, I wasn't able to sell it for that season. So sometimes I request a lot of things like winter clothing or accessories, and then I will hold those and then send them the next season. But I don't, that's not my plan. It's just if it happens, I have to do it. But when I'm buying products, I wanna make sure that I'm able to sell it in the next 90 days. Otherwise, I don't want to have my money hold, for a long time as a business model. I hope that helps. Matthew says, sell me, why just one dime? Zero experience out of the mentor that I'm looking at. Set stands out from the rest, and this is a good for the absolute newbie. Well, if I'm not trying to sell you, and that's not my intention, but I've been with Just One Dime for almost 3 years, since the very beginning, and the same thing. I found Seth on. I actually got a recommendation from somebody else to work with Seth, and he started. I watched his videos, and he's very real. No BS. And the main thing that I liked about Just One Dime and Seth was that he never told me this was gonna be easy. He always told me if you're willing to work and if you're willing to learn, you're gonna have success. And when I started as everybody else. I started learning arbitrage as one of the business models. I have done private label. I like um, I like arbitrage because it's a lot faster for me to see results, but I do private label as well. And I just started having a lot of success doing arbitrage, and that's why we have these Saturdays to be able to help the community with arbitrage questions. But Seth is focused 100% on private label, which is the ultimate goal. I want to be able to get to the point where my private label products are doing a lot better than arbitrage. But arbitrage just keeps working for me. For the last 3 years, I've been able to constantly be selling 300,000 plus every year. This year, I started from zero again, and with everything I've learned, in the community, I'm able to go back to 50, 60, $70,000 a month. And so for me, having the community, that's being one of the best things for me, to be able to learn, and then being transparent, and being able to say, this is work, and it's if you're not willing to work, it's not gonna work for you. And I think a lot of other people, they try to sell you on the idea of you can make $100,000 a month very fast, very easy, and it's not, it's a lot of work. So I think those are the things that motivated me to stay with Just One Dime, help the community, and be here, as one of the coaches. And I just love the community, and how you can have that support. And again, as far as pricing, most programs are going to be more expensive, especially arbitrage. I think we have the best price, for your investment, as far as the training. So when I do these webinars, I try not to be selling all the time, because what we want to do is we want to help the community. So if you think this is worth for you, man, just do it. If not, just find keep watching the free videos. But I think having that step by step guidance and having that community for support is going to allow you to do it faster. And if you think that's something that you need, because some people they just by watching the free videos, they're able to start selling and seeing see results. But some people like me, I need step by step. I need guidance. I need an organized routine, and that's what we provide as a part of the community and as part of the training. So I hope I hope you decide and join the community. And we have a lot of training, a lot of support. So that's the main thing that I always try. I want to make sure that we give everything that we can, and we have a lot of people having success. But yeah, that would be the main reason why, especially if you're new, you do want to have you can do it either two ways. You can spend the next 2 years trying to figure it out, or you can spend the next 3 months learning and then starting having success, because there's a lot of things that you need to understand, and you need to make sure that you know. And it can take you a long time doing it yourself, or it can take you a short time and just start seeing success. Maui TV says 40% or higher for 4 months, maybe 30% 5 month 20%. Yes, that's basically what I do. After 4 months, I'm gonna start checking every few weeks, trying to see if I haven't sold it, then I drop another 10%. And then if within 6 months, I'm trying to liquidate, and I don't want to make any money on that product. I just want to try to get some of my investment back, and that works for me. But the first 4 months, I don't want to sell lower than 40% ROI. Zach says, how do you account for multiple variations on a listing when trying to figure out sales velocity of a product? We use different tools, like we use one tool called RevSeller, and that one gives you a lot of information, especially which products are having the most reviews, which is not an exact science, but it's gonna tell you, what color or what size has the most reviews, and based on that, you can estimate which products are selling the most. So, for example, if you have 20 variations, but one variation has 80 reviews and the other one has one review, you figure that the one that has one review is not making a lot of sales, but the one that has 80 reviews is making more sales, because you need to make more sales in order to get reviews. So you can estimate based on that information which products are selling the most. And we don't have an exact. We used to have, like 2.5 years ago, we used to have exact numbers for each variation acing. Now we don't have that information, so we kind of have to base that on the information that we have. And RevSeller is a great tool that will give you some of that information, so you can estimate those numbers. John David says, does Just One Night promote viral launch in the course? Which tools are you taught to use? The main tool for private label, the main tool that we use is, let me make sure it's Amazon. We use Helium 10 for a few things when you're optimizing listings and things like that. But for research, we use Amazon. I like to recommend Scope, which is another tool by Labs, and those are going to give you a lot of great information. But again, it depends on it depends on how do you want to do it. And we do touch on Viral Launch, we do touch on Jungle Scout, but the main tool that we recommend to use is going to be Amazon, and for the most part, it's a free tool, so you can check that one out. And I try not to rely a lot on the tools, but I try to get all that information. And Seth has a great product evaluation tool that is just a spreadsheet, and we have all the training on how to use that. I like to use that better to kind of understand the market and understand what we're doing. So you can use different tools, but the main thing is you want to understand the market. And we do have our own evaluation tool to kind of give you that information, and it's all in the training as well. If you were starting, would you do any differently? How do you deal with the fear and doubt of you starting? Well, it's always going to be, scary to start a new business. I have started a few businesses, throughout the years. Most of them have required a lot of money. When I started my trucking business, I spent over $100,000 in equipment before I even, started doing anything. And then when I started my Amazon business, my first shipment for Arbitrage was $175. My second one was $500. The second month I spent $2,000. So I was able to scale. And then after 2 months, I decided I'm selling my trucking business. I'm getting all that money, about $30,000, $35,000 I got, and I started investing that money on inventory. And that's how I was able to grow, within 11 months, I grew to $300,000 in sales. But it wasn't, I didn't spend that whole money at front. I was able to scale, every month, and I was able to grow the business. And just to be honest with you, I only spent $35,000 on my own money in the last 2 years. This year, I started almost fresh again because I was traveling last year for 6 months. So all my inventory, dropped to almost zero. And then this year I started again. I invested another $25,000, but now I have more experience. I know what to look for. And, for the last, these years alone, I've been, I've done over 300,000 with that $25,000 investment, and just reinvesting. So that's the nice thing about Arbitrage, is that you can start with a very low budget. You can scale slow, but if you have the money or the capital to invest, you can see results within a month, within 2 months, if you know how to find good product. And that's what we teach in the training. Salima says, that's the one. Matthew says, awesome, very genuine answer. Thank you. And I will need help for sure. Yeah, again, I try not to sell you because, if I can help anybody, I don't have to really sell anything. And that's my philosophy, and that's why I always try to help. We give you a lot of information here, but sometimes you need a more structured way, and that's why we have the training. It's a very step-by-step, very structured way, with the support of the community and with the support of the coaches that you're gonna have a one-to-one meeting with a coach, and he's gonna answer more questions for you. And so for some people, you do need that structure in order to see results, and some people, they just wanna start running and go. And I think both options are good, but for me, it's I do need that structure, and that's what we offer. Mark says, I'm using the Amazon Seller app to check the VSR. Would I be using another software such as Amazon or Keepa? They're not free, and they're really worth it. Are they really worth it? Yes. Well, Mark, if I'm gonna keep talking about Arbitrage right now, and I hope that was the question for Arbitrage. I will say the main tool that you need, paid tool, is gonna be Keepa, and you wanna understand how to use Keepa, and you really wanna understand how to read those charts, because that's gonna depend on the quality of the product. And when I talk about quality, I don't mean about the actual product. I mean what I mean about high quality is very low BSR and high profit margin. Those are my two qualifiers for a high quality product. So if you learn how to choose high quality products, meaning low BSR, high profit margins, then you know that everything that you're sending onto Amazon, all your inventory is going to be high quality, meaning it's going to sell within the next 90 days. And sometimes it can happen very fast, like as fast as a few weeks. So in order to understand that, you need the Amazon Seller app, which is fine, and then you need Keepa. So you do need to invest in Keepa. I say that's one of the main tools that you want to invest in. And then, once you start running your business, there's going to be other tools that are going to save you a lot of time, and you can invest on those. But the main one, if you had to choose, I would say use the Amazon Seller app and use Keepa, and make sure that the products that you're buying are high quality, the way with the qualifiers that I mentioned before. Salima says, what are the things that you have learned in terms of not to sell or not to do? I will say the main thing that is gonna happen to all of us is the quality of the inventory, because you can send $2,000 worth of inventory to Amazon, and if that inventory is not good inventory, it's gonna sit there and it's not gonna sell. So the main thing that I'm always trying to learn, or the main thing that I was able to learn, was sending good inventory, high quality inventory. So that's, if you have to focus on trying to learn something, you need to focus on learning how to buy good product. And we do have a lot of training on that in the membership. We do have a lot of training here in this channel, and I know a lot of people are they're starting to sell good, and all you have to do is you have to follow that criteria. You wanna have good profit margin items. You wanna have low rank items, and you wanna be able to understand how to find those items. So I will say, for me, that will be the one thing that I learned, that you need to learn as well. The Joel says, doing online arbitrage, I would say retail and online arbitrage. Have you ever had Amazon ask for receipts? Yes. And if so, were TGE departments receive enough? Yes. I've had my account suspended 3 times. The first time, the product that they needed my receipts was Shoe Carnival. They took the receipts, no problem. The second time, they needed receipts, and they were from Walmart, and they took my receipts from Walmart, no problems. And the third time, they didn't need any receipts; they just needed something else. But the first time that I got my account suspended, it took me 10 days to figure out what they needed. The second time, it took me about 3 days, and the third time, I was able to, with experience, with everything we've learned so far, I was able to get my account reactivated within 24 hours. And they didn't ask me for any receipts. I was able to send them letters, and we have shared, those letters in this channel, so you can search for suspension. It's the same. If you search for suspension on this channel, we have a video where we share that template with you, and you can actually save it and have it in hand. I know some of the members of the community have used that template, and it's worked for them. And I know a few people that they haven't been able to, I guess the issue was so different that template didn't work for them. But it's a good thing to have. It's a good resource that we offer here, so you can you can get that template and have it in hand. Maui TV says Amazon BSR is a snapshot of the current BSR. You should be looking at BSR over 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. Yes, the Amazon BSR is the best seller rank, and it's basically a number that Amazon assigns to each product on the catalog, depending on the category. So, for example, if the category of shoes has 16 million products, the product with rank number 1 is the best seller. The product with rank number 16 million is the worst seller, or it's probably it hasn't sold in a long time. So you want to be able to get as close as possible to number 1. Finding products that have good margin profit. So I always recommend to stay at least within the 1% of that category. So depending on the category, it can be 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 300,000. For books is about I think it's about 1 million or 500,000, which is it sounds a very high number, but for books is a good rank number. So that's the way where we know what is been the velocity of that product, the sales velocity of that product. And then we like to recommend to not just see today's rank, because that rank changes every hour, but we like to recommend to check the average for the last 3 to 6 months, even longer than that. That way, okay, for the last 3 months, it's been selling at this rank average. So I know even if it goes up and down, the average is going to be a better number to look for. Is it true that reviews generate sales? How do you push customers to leave review after they receive the order at home? Reviews is just for me, it's just a social proof that the product is a good product. But of course, if you have no reviews on a product, you're going to be able to sell some units. But if you have reviews on the product, a lot of people base their decision of buying the product, they base it, they make the decision based on the reviews that they read. My wife would spend hours, reading reviews for a $20 product. And I don't. I want a product, I look it up, I find it, and I buy it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that reviews generate sales. It means that a lot of people, base the decision or decide based on the reviews. So you do want to have reviews on your products if you're doing private label, but it's not 100% necessary. All the products that you launch on Amazon have 0 reviews when they start, and they start selling if you know how to optimize the listing, if you know how to advertise those products. But they do help with sales. And then the best way to generate reviews if you're doing private label is to send, to have constant communication with the buyers after they purchase the product, so you can send emails to them. You have to know how to do it, through the system, to the Amazon system and everything, so you don't get in trouble. But usually you're gonna be able to not ask for reviews, but be able to give very good customer service so the customers leave reviews for you. And that's a little bit of a private label. It's more for private label. Arbitrage, we don't worry too much about that. We do worry about feedback, seller feedback, which is something that we have to make sure that we keep good seller feedback for doing arbitrage and private label. But arbitrage is more related with seller feedback, and that's the one thing that you have to worry about more. Government, and by the way, guys, great questions. Thank you very much for asking the questions and being here with me. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions before we finish this webinar. So good prep center recommendations. Yes, down here below we have a document. It gives you 72 prep centers in the United States. I haven't tried all of them. I probably work with 3 or 4 of them, but the main thing that we like to recommend is don't just look for somebody that some for just one recommendation, try to contact 3, 4, 5 of those prep centers, talk to them, see how they how they work with you, how you click with them, and then choose the best one for you. Because I could tell you the prep center that I use, and they work very good with me, and they treat me very well. And then you turn around, you call them, and they treat you like they don't give you a good customer service. And then you're gonna say, well, Allan recommends a very crappy service. But for me, it's not bad. It might be that whenever you call, they had an issue or something, and so don't try to just get a recommendation. Try to interview the different prep centers, talk to them, see if everything they do it's good for you, if they do everything you need them to do, because some prep centers, they won't really be flexible to help you and do things like that. But some of them, they will help you, and depending on how busy they are and how big they are. So you do want to interview a few of them. And in this document that we share with you, if you look at the description, we kind of give you some of the questions that you should be asking, some of the things that you should know, so you can talk to them. And I always recommend talk to 3 or 5 people, 5 prep centers, and then see which one you click with, and you feel very comfortable, and then choose one of them. Most of them are going to give you almost the same different services, but it's better to click with them when you talk to them and all of that. Salima says, how do you scale an arbitrage business? It's labor intensive. Yes. The one way that I've been able to scale my business is delegating. I use a lot of VAs, virtual assistants, that help me find products for retail and online arbitrage. And this year, I decided to hire personal shoppers, or sourcing agents, for arbitrage sourcing agents. So I have 2 people that are buying products, and they're doing the sourcing agent sourcing, they're sourcing agents, and they also are acting as my prep center. So I pay them for finding products, and also I pay them for prep and ship. So I'm not using an external prep center with them, with the products that they're buying. Anything that I buy online, I do use a prep center in Florida, and anything they buy, and they're here in Houston, Texas. So I'm here this week because I'm helping and also teaching a few more people how to buy products for me, and they're gonna buy the product, and then my other 2 people are gonna do the prep and ship for me. So I have been able to scale. Just to give an example, last year I was doing about $30,000 a month, 29,000 a month. This year I have been able to double that in most months. Last month in August I did almost $94,000. And this month I'm about $54,000. So I've been able to double my sales, but I'm using more people, and that allows me to keep my travel goals that I have with my wife, and still be able to maintain the amount of inventory that I need in order to make those sales. So it's all about when you talk about scaling, you're gonna need software, you're gonna need virtual assistants, or you're gonna need more people locally to help you expand. And I do plan to hire more people in Atlanta, where I live, but I was living here for 7 months in Austin, and I found a couple of people that helped me here in Houston. So they still, it doesn't really matter where they are, as long as they buy and they buy good products. I have been able to keep working with them even though I moved to Georgia. All right, one more question. Can you have more than one seller account? My account sold by company is the name very specific and it doesn't relate to the type of things that I sell. I would like more generic company name. Yes, you can, but you need to get an approval from Amazon. So you need to let them know. You need to ask them first if they approve it, if they approve you to have a separate second account, and if they do, then you can do it. I asked approval for a second account 2.5 years ago, and they didn't approve it. And I asked another one more time about a month and a half ago. I asked for again for for an approval of a second account, and this time they approved it. So I'm in the process of opening a new account. So this time they approve it. I don't know if it has to do with the time or the the account metrics, but they did approve it this time. And so yes, you can. And most people or actually Amazon on the terms of service will tell you that you allow only one account per household. But if you ask, sometimes they will approve it, depending on your situation or your explanation of why do you need a second account. And then the other way to have multiple accounts is having um, having partners and things like that. And that's how I've been able to have multiple accounts. But for my personal business, I just got approved for a second account. But that was after 3 years of being selling on Amazon. So I hope that helps you. And I do have to leave, guys. I do want to respect your time, but I also have another meeting. And so thank you very much for being here. If and I'm sorry I wasn't able to answer all of your questions, but if you like this kind of content, give us a thumbs up here. Like this video and share it if you can. And let us know in the comments if you have any other questions so we can answer those. And again, if you want to get more details of the membership that we have for Arbitrage, it's called Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. In the details, there's a link where you get more information, and Seth kind of gives you all the details of the membership. And hopefully these webinars help you. And we're going to be here every Saturday at noon Central Standard Time. And hopefully we'll have Eric next week, and we'll keep helping you guys, helping the community, and answering questions every Saturday. So thank you for being here. And again, if you like it, if you like this video, let us know on the by clicking the like. And you guys have a great day. Take care.